But it is the Chevalier Cup that we look at first, and we've got Excellent Proposal. He's on a 7-day backup. He raced last week and finished down the track behind a Golden 60. Butterfield gets the cheek pieces on. Fantastic Treasure has the cheek pieces off. Running Glory's on a 7-day backup. He won last week over 1,800 metres. Beluga, the winner of the Panasonic Cup, carries an extra £8. The Rock is a 3-time course and distance winner. Keefe drops £10 for the class rise, and he takes on Beauty Verse again, who's second up and has a much better draw. And CP Brave, all of his wins and placings in Hong Kong have been over this course and distance of 1,600 metres. Now, the speed map here, Tom, we've got a noted leader in the race in All for St Paul's.
Yes, he does like to go forward, and he can be dangerous off the front to All for St Paul's. Comes up into Class 1 for his very first assignment here. Beauty Verse, Paul, a horse not known for leading up in Australia prior to arriving. Zach summed up the situation and went forward with him last time out. I wonder if they do the same again this time around.
Yeah, so it worked, didn't it? And they've got a good draw, so they might take advantage of that good draw. But I think whatever happens, All for St Paul's will lead. And Beluga's drawn 10, but in the small field of 10, I think he can get across outside the leader.
Pretty good run for those back in the field. The Rock, Running Glory, CP Brave and Fantastic Treasure. It is Beauty Verse, the focus horse to start the show. Zach Purton rode him to a debut win in Hong Kong, and Zach was out at track work yesterday morning, and so too was Nick Child.
Zach, Beauty Verse was very impressive last time on his local debut. Up in grade this weekend, but certainly a horse I'm sure you're looking forward to.
Yeah, the job gets tougher as we go further down the line, of course, but he did a really good job from a wide gate first up. Against what was his normal racing style previously, and he had to fight for it in the end, and he wanted to fight for it. So there was a lot to like, and he's got to back that performance up again now. It'd be interesting to see how much it's taken out of him, and if he can do it. But I'm looking forward to riding him.
Just as an assessment of that performance, I mean, he showed some great qualities. Was that sort of expected going into that race on debut?
Well, we were hoping he was going to run well, of course, but I think we're probably all a little bit surprised in the manner he did it. But maybe he's shown he's a bit more versatile than what we had thought. And we're going to find out more as we go along.
And the gate, obviously, you've mentioned on that debut, you did have a wide gate and managed to overcome that, I guess, where you're drawn this time, albeit a relatively smaller field. It's certainly an asset to him there going forward. Sure.
Well, the one thing he doesn't possess is probably natural gate speed. He took a couple hundred metres to get into his rhythm and get rolling last time. Having drawn the outside, that allowed him to do that. When you draw inside, if other horses obviously are quicker than him out the gates and get in front of him, he has to take the position behind. So, we'll learn more about him as we go along, and every time he races.
Stays to a mile. I guess this opportunity has presented itself, so why not take up the position in the field? I guess in time he is going to want further, given what we know about him. Yeah,
exactly. His form from overseas suggests that, but here we are here again, and we'll see what he's got.
You quoted after the race as saying he had a really nice action, a lot of heart, and I guess that's a quality that's going to take a horse a long way here in Hong Kong.
Yeah, he's a galloper. He's certainly got a big set of lungs. I knew that immediately when I trialled him at Happy Valley. It took me a long time after the trial to pull him up. He continued to want to truck along. So, yeah, he's obviously a stayer and a galloper, and he showed that again at his first start. So that's what we've got, and we've got a long path ahead of us. Hopefully he can just continue to do the right things and keep pleasing us.
And ultimately that path will hopefully end at a Hong Kong derby, but as you say, that is a fair way off, I suppose.
Yeah, well, that's probably going to be his first main goal, right? And then after that, hopefully he's got plenty more grand finals in him.
Zach Purton there on Beauty Verse. What about second up, Tom? Keefe gets his chance to run him down this week again.
He does, especially with the weight advantage that Keefe has this time round. Last time out, Purton took the initiative there to get him forward because everyone else was looking around wondering who was going to lead. So he went forward and did it. But I think still there was nothing wrong with De Souza's ride, Paul, on Keefe, but there was an opportunity for him to maybe make Zach work a little bit more in those early stages.
Yeah, it could well have been. And I think, as you say, Zach summed it up at the start and went to the lead. It's not his natural way. And from barrier 2, I think they'll be positive, but All for St Paul's will lead, I'm sure.
We sometimes have to be wary with these sort of Class 2 horses case in point, Beauty Legacy won first up, never won again.
Okay, so well, he's drawn better this week, Beauty Verse. Keefe has drawn the same gate of 3, and also CP Brave. He's got a wider draw than the replay we just saw. We move on, Tom, to last week. Excellent proposal in the mile. Now he bumps into Golden 60 and also California Spangle here. He's never raced on a 7-day backup before, but he has won on a 2-week backup previously.
He has, and so this race hasn't been a great stepping stone for horses heading to international. I don't think of the last 10 runnings, I think only one horse that's come through this race has gone on to place, and he was back in the field here, Paul. Been a long time since he's won. He'll bob up sometime, but I don't think it's going to be here.
Yeah, I tend to agree as well. I mean, it's almost 2 years since he won. He won January 2021. So, look, he hasn't had any relief in the ratings as well, because he's sort of been consistent. So, I mean, when he did win that race, he was off a rating of 98, and he's rated higher than that 2 years later at 103.
And he is having his 5th go in Class 1. He's only ever placed in Class 1 too, once out of 4. Now, this is last week also, Paul, and this is Little Running Glory, who was well back, started a 1.9 favourite, not going to be as short this week, comes back in trip, but he's just all heart.
He's honest, isn't he, this horse? He's 13 starts and he's won 6 of them and been placed in most of the others as well. So he has won over the 1,600 metres as well. Look, he goes in for me.
He's in as well, but there's nothing of him, is there? He was £967 last weekend when winning over Rise Brethren. Comes here again, course and distance, 1,600 metres, a win, a second and a 4th placing. So he has to go in. He was, second up there. It was a great performance, I thought.
And now, Tom, the Panasonic Cup, we've got a couple to look at here, including the winner, Beluga. He won't mind the step up to 1,600 metres. He's won up the trip previously. And Fantastic Treasure, who ran 5th behind Beluga in this race. There he is, just trying to find a little bit of room between the winner and also Blaze Warrior.
Case in point with this horse again last start, he's just a horse that goes so well the second up. He cruised into it, and when the horse on his outside, Blaze Warrior, looked like he'd headed him, he fought back really hard, I thought, Beluga, so he goes in again, Paul. Yeah,
I like him actually in this, because he does hold his form once he wins. He showed us that last season. I think coming up to 1,600 metres is going to suit him, and he only went up 5 rating points for this win as well. So I just really like the way he fought.
Fantastic Treasure was pretty fair when he did get out. He didn't do much.
I'm not convinced about him at a mile.
Yeah, I agree.
Here's the leader in the race, Paul, all for St Paul's. They've left him alone in front before and he's been able to see it out. What about the swoopers this week? Is he going to be vulnerable?
I think he might be. Look, I do really like the horse, and we all like a front runner that sort of really fights, don't we? And this horse has been consistent. He's 3rd up now. Look, I just think this is quite a rich race, this one.
He's a 6-year-old, 7-time winner. Hard to argue his form figures, and the prize money that he's won for his connections, so just short of $9 million. And of course, Muddy Catcher here. We know what Muddy Catcher's been able to go on and do since, and that was able to win the Sasa Ladies Purse. But this is quite a bit stronger, I feel.
Matthew Chadwick, good record on the horse. 3 rides for 2 wins. Good field. Who wins it, Paul?
Yeah, I reckon it's a really good field to have for the feature here. I'm going to go with Beluga, though. I like the fact he's stepping up from 14 to 16. He's a real honest horse, and he fought really hard last time. I think he can get into the 1 out, 1 back position, so he's on top. Beauty Verse should get a nice set in behind. Keithy ran really well and does meet Beauty Verse better at the weights, and Running Glory is so honest. 5, 9, 8 and 4.
Going with, in this race, Keefe, I think with the weight swing that he's got this time round, that's definitely going to suit him. Derek Long, Frankie Law from barrier number 3. Beauty Verse goes in, big run from him first up. I'll be interested to see where they get him in from barrier 2 this time round with all for St Paul's in the race. Running Glory, always honest, and Beluga the last start winner, 8, 9, 4 and 5.